Mic check 1 2 1 2. Kick your mic check. Levels up, make sure they hit yellow. Just to remind y'all, make sure at the end of the show, don't log out. Make sure you upload. Good to go. Thank you. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is the G Podcast, episode 132. How you doing? How you doing? Yes. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. The crew is here. Each week, again, we do news, politics, that pop culture. Tanya B is in the building. How you doing, Tanya B? Yes, yes.
I be fine. How you be?
What's going on? K-Dub is in the building. K-Dub, what's up, man?
Yeah, sight for sore eyes.
Get up on that mic. Get up on that mic, bro. Don't be hiding. Was it your birthday?
Well, that was last week. You know, me and the grandkids.
Let me give it to you, man.
It's been about 6 weeks now.
Yeah, it's my birthday this week. So you and Gemini, I didn't know you were in the what is it, Gemini season, bro?
You 7th, right? Same day as Prince.
Yeah, June 7th, man. Yeah, Prince Day. So this is the week. Get ready. Episode 132, y'all, and you know, it's Black Music Month as well. Gotta give it up for Black Music Month in the building. Yes.
I thought I heard Hijack Your Love.
Hijack Your Love. Was that Tanya B?
I played it. Yeah, took you back to the year 1975. Yes, Lord, you sure did.
And you know, with Black Music Month, you know, the Birdwire is kind of our musical theme, our musical partnership with Tanya B. And you know, so Tanya B, you know, great episode this week. I got to give it to you. A lot of good stuff. You know, talk about like this past week. Talk about the classics you played. this week?
Oh, no, it's interesting because when I did the classic backyard barbecue jams for Memorial Day, I
Hmm.
had it in segments. I had the 70s, then the 80s, and the 90s. And I said, man, the 70s had it, the 80s got it, the 90s tried, but they didn't quite get to it because you might have noticed a shift in the music.
Yeah.
So each and every week, I just want to educate folks and tell them about music, the history of the songs, a little bit about the artists. Many are independent. Like I played Hijack by Herbie Mann. This was
Yeah.
1975. He was an independent artist with an independent label. A lot of people didn't know that. I talked about why that song wasn't played on a lot of radio.
I
So
remember it.
every
Yeah. I
yeah,
remember.
and I took gave you a little LTD, a little holding on when love is gone. That was the jam.
Hmm.
Man.
And
Yes.
I'll close it out with the Blackbirds. Everybody knew Donald Byrd and the Blackbirds representing Howard HU.
Yes. Yes. What
So
was it?
I
What was
try
the
to.
song?
I
The
played.
Blackbird song, right?
I played Rock Creek Park, and I played Happy Music. Who, by the another little independent gem I left out for you. The female vocal on that song is one of the most unsung background singers, Mary Clayton. Who sang with the Rolling Stones, and
Wow.
she was like the Lisa Fisher of the '70s, so to speak.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let
And
me give it up. Let
yeah,
me give it up for
thank you,
the Bird
thank you,
Wire
thank you,
Jam.
thank you.
Yeah.
And I love the new independent stuff you played, and I shot you a note because you played the remake of Heaven done by what, Anthony
Anthony
David
David in Algebra, yes,
and
and I
Algebra.
played
Yeah,
more
go ahead.
new music from a great album that's not getting support from Motown. Shame on you, you shady. The classic Temptations have an album out called 60, and I played another new cut from that album, and it's doing well. That album is doing well, not on commercial radio,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
on the digital and the internet radio side. So I played another new cut from that album, and the Temps are still out there touring and dipping it and doing it. 60 years, hey.
Wow. How many original members left? Is it just
All you
one?
have is Otis. He's the last man standing, Dr. Otis Williams,
Yeah.
who there's a song I played called When We Were Kings, which is co-written by Preston Glass and Narada Michael Walden. Holla. And that song tells you the history of the group, talks about everybody from the originals up to current. And Otis Williams was one of the writers on that song. So if you get a chance, check out, help yourself. You won't be disappointed. The Temptations album, it's called 60.
Nice, nice, nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. And
Thank you.
and again, I got to shout out my home bodies, my home folks, Algebra and Anthony David, because they're both here in the
Yeah,
ATL,
in
right?
the ATL. And they're coming to the
Yeah.
podcast soon.
Oh, good, good. Because they did a remake of, it has to be one of my favorite BB and CC Winan songs, Heaven, man, which is just
Yeah.
a heck. I can't say a heck. It's a great track.
Great
Where was
album.
I going with that? It is. I mean, oh yeah, dude, that album.
Mhm.
You know.
Hold up the light.
So yes,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. I mean, they, and that's the great thing I recall about the '80s. You had so much crossover, '80s into the '90s. You had so much crossover gospel. You had crossover jazz. The
Yes.
Winans, Teddy Riley and the Winans were
It's
doing,
time.
it's time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so much, in my opinion, variety in music, and you just don't get that kind of variety now.
No,
I mean,
and
it's
when
kind of
it's
one
done,
dimensional. Yeah,
yeah,
go
and
ahead.
when it's done, it's just, Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj is not like BB and CC Winans and
Yeah,
say Mavis Staples. It's not like Teddy Riley and the Winans. And again, I go back to the 70s and the 80s, maybe the early 90s. It just was a different time, a better time for music,
yeah,
I'll say.
yeah.
And that
Yes, it
is,
was.
it's a lost art form now. It
Yeah,
really
I,
is.
I agree. I agree. And this week, of course, not only is it my birthday, it's Prince's
Yeah,
birthday, and that's
yeah.
how a lot of folks remember when they say, "Damn, it's Prince's birthday. Must be Baco's." No, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I do.
I saw what was
The mural.
the
Did you see
mural
that?
that
Yeah.
that went up in Minneapolis, and I've seen a lot of the celebrations at Paisley. Is there any what year? How old would he have been this year? I forgot. I'm
God.
trying to think. I'll
Like
do it
old
during
enough to
news.
get Social Security.
62.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
just leave
the
it at that. But
that's the
Or
unbelievable thing.
yeah, I'm
64, I think.
I'm glad to
64?
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
okay, one more year. I'm glad to see that because of a little bit of the decrease in COVID, but the numbers are going up now. Paisley Park is actually resuming the activities that they had pandemic in celebration of Prince. So that's a good thing as well.
It's hard to imagine Prince at 64. You know what I'm saying? After seeing him, like, my life has always, probably since he started with Soft and Wet, back in the day, back in what, 76, 77,
78.
78.
I had a
It
Prince
would
book
be
cover.
tough to see him at 64. But I'm sure he would still be in the heels, jumping off stage,
Well,
doing
look
his
at it
thing,
like this.
even at
Look,
64. Go ahead.
even though when he got older, he couldn't do the splits, but James Brown was in his late 70s, early 80s. He was still dipping it and doing it. And I think Prince would have still been out there doing it, maybe not jumping as high, maybe not splitting as much. Maybe the heels might have been lower with a little lift in the shoe.
Yeah.
But I think he would have still been the consummate performer that we all knew him to be.
And
And master music.
the crazy thing about, and this is one of the things, as a Prince fan, the crazy thing is Prince, Michael, and Madonna are all the same age, right? Am I right, K-Dub? They're all
should be close, yeah. I
they're
know
all
very
born this.
close.
I'm gonna check it during the news, but
A
I'm
year or
pretty
two.
sure that they're all born in the same year, so they'd all be around the same age. Madonna is not aging well, by the way.
I would say she's looking good and crazy, and seeing a 60.
Black don't
well,
crack, but Madonna.
put it like this: I'd rather see Patti LaBelle twerking at the age of 78 than see Madonna out there looking like crazy, like she's somebody's mother.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what that look is she's got going on now, but yeah. I'll check it. During news. Hey, let's go ahead and do this, y'all. Let's do Syracuse, Mike. We got a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, on the other side, but we'll get right back into it right after this. We'll go right back. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
It's been a tough Memorial Day weekend with much of the national news focus on the recent mass shootings. The president and the first lady traveled to Uvalde, Texas Sunday. They spent time visiting memorials to children who died less than a week ago in the massacre at Robb Elementary School. They also spent time with survivors, families, and first responders. At one point, Mr. Biden was faced with chants of do something.
Do something! Do something!
The president said, "We will." Earlier Sunday, Senator Chris Murphy made the rounds to several Sunday talk shows, telling CBS's Face the Nation,
"We're looking for an old school compromise in which we both tighten the nation's gun laws to make sure that only law-abiding citizens get their hands on these very powerful weapons, but also invest in school security and mental health."
The Justice Department also announced it will launch a review of law enforcement's response to the Texas mass shooting. There has been much discussion about that response, and we have a better idea of what happened on the day an 18-year-old killed 19 children and 2 teachers in Uvalde. There has been a lot of criticism and misinformation. Here's the updated, condensed timeline. First, the shooter shot his grandmother before heading to the elementary school. He entered the school and started shooting. 2 minutes later, cops arrive. 911 calls were made from inside the school. It took 77 minutes for officers to finally break into a classroom after the first shots were fired. Almost every current and former law enforcement official says officers should have been trained to engage the shooter immediately and draw the attention away from the victims. In this case, that did not happen. The investigation into the mass shooting in Texas is now focused on the police response and why officers delayed moving into the classroom to stop the shooter. The first of the funerals are also underway in Uvalde, and President Biden is now talking about his visit with grieving families this past Sunday. The First Lady was with him. The Prime Minister of New Zealand was at the White House Tuesday, and that is when the president talked about his weekend trip.
People sat in the room, about 250 of them in a large room, with me for almost 4 hours. Nobody left. They wanted to air until I spoke to every single person in that room.
As of Monday, there have been 17 mass shootings in the U.S. since the Uvalde shooting, which took the lives of 19 children and 2 teachers. 2 mass shootings took place on Memorial Day. In Benton Harbor, Michigan, 1 person was killed and 6 people were injured as a fight reportedly broke out at a local bar. Also Monday, a mass shooting in Philadelphia left 2 people dead and 2 others injured at a Memorial Day party. Most officials consider mass shootings to be 4 or more people injured or killed, not including the shooter. So many mass shootings tend to be local media stories. We generally hear more about the mass killings. By the way, members of Congress met virtually Tuesday to discuss possible gun reform. We learned about another mass shooting Wednesday at a clinic behind an Oklahoma hospital. Here's Tulsa Deputy Police Chief Eric DeGlish.
We have 4 civilians that are dead. We have 1 shooter that is dead, and right now we believe that is self-inflicted.
The Tulsa Police Department quickly reported that the suspect took his own life.
We have confirmed he had 1 long gun, a rifle, and 1 handgun on the scene at the time.
Several other people were also wounded. The White House says President Biden has been briefed on the shooting. The state of Georgia has reported its first possible case of monkeypox. That's according to the CDC. The case is out of metro Atlanta. The person is a man with a history of international travel. The Georgia Department of Public Health will be tracing any contacts the man has had and will continue to monitor his condition. Again, as of Wednesday, the case was not confirmed. A grand jury in Buffalo has charged the white 18-year-old accused of fatally shooting 10 black people at a local supermarket with 10 counts of first-degree murder. He's also charged with domestic terrorism motivated by hate. The shooter is scheduled to be arraigned today in Erie County Court. The 25-count indictment contains other charges related to the mass shooting. The Uvalde school police chief, under fire for the way he led the law enforcement effort during last week's school shooting, has spoken exclusively to CNN. Pete Arredondo declined to answer specific questions. The Texas Department of Public Safety, also known as DPS, says Arredondo has not responded to a request for a follow-up interview with Texas Rangers. But he told CNN that he is in contact with DPS every day. He also told the news network that he will not release any further information while the funerals continue. In a televised address Thursday night, President Biden told the nation it's time to strengthen background checks and increase red flag laws.
For God's sake, how much more carnage are we willing to accept?
The president would like to see a ban on assault weapons, and if that's not possible, he at least wants to see the age for buying them raised to 21.
We should reinstate the assault weapons ban on high-capacity magazines that we passed in 1994 with bipartisan support in Congress and the support of law enforcement. 9 categories of semi-automatic weapons were included in that ban, like AK-47s and AR-15s.
A bipartisan group of senators say they have a framework for a bill, but again, right now, it's just a framework. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, 4 people were killed at a medical facility Wednesday, and police presented what was likely the motive. The victims were 2 doctors, a patient, and a receptionist. The police chief says the shooter was having back problems.
As officers continued to clear the building, they located Dr. Phillips deceased in an exam room.
That's Tulsa Police Chief Wendell Franklin. The chief says the suspect started shooting once he got inside the building. He also left a note. The apparent target was a back surgeon because he was still in pain.
You know, another week, man, another set of mass shootings. And you know, as we tape, 35 mass shootings since Buffalo. That's within the last couple of weeks, 35. Wow. And then, you know, so far this year, I think as we tape this show, we're talking about 230 mass shootings so far this year. I mean, you know, is it just me, or were we just not counting in the previous years? I mean, or is this just out of, I mean, well, you know, it is out of control. But, you know, Tanya B, K-Dub.
I mean, now it is out of control. And I think now, you know, it's interesting because a lot of times it's black, brown, and tan people. Mm-hmm. And I think that, and I was saying this to someone just earlier today, you know, there's so many, it's like, are we going to become numb to this as well? Because even since that news report was done, there was another mass shooting in Philadelphia early this morning. Yep. No one's really talking about the one that took place at a gravesite during a funeral. There was one at a mall. There was one in Chicago. There's been one a couple of hours ago in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga,
it's like,
yep.
You know,
wow.
and even with this man that got this gun and killed that doctor, you know, unfortunately now a lot of people it was a great loss, and he was a graduate of, I believe, Morehouse School of Medicine here in Atlanta, and went to high school with the former Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Yeah, I
But
think
the
he had
thing,
connections to Emory as well. I mean,
yeah, that's where he went. Yeah, but the
yeah,
thing is, this man had only had surgery 3 days ago. Most people, look, I had my gallbladder out 3 days later. I was still in pain, but I
yeah,
wasn't going around trying to shoot the doctor that did my gallbladder surgery.
yeah.
So, and again, this guy, if correct me if I'm wrong, he got the gun like right before he went to shoot the doctor, and in Philadelphia. Had the police not been there and returned fire with one of the suspects who they may still be at large, but check this out, dropped the gun, and this person came there with intent to slaughter because they had a magazine. It wasn't like a little pow pow
Wow.
pow 9mm. There
Wow.
was a magazine, which meant you meant to kill a few. And like I said, second shooting in the same neighborhood within 1 week. So I guess they didn't accomplish what they set out to do on Tuesday, and they went back last night. And it said, and I still say, you know, these young kids, the parents like, oh, he's mentally ill. I'm like, no, that's not going to be an excuse for much longer. Because
Yeah.
if you as a parent know your child's mentally ill, you need to take some action and be proactive, not try to act like, oh, I want him to be mainstreamed and be normal. Your child ain't normal. But my thing is, how, with the exception of Tulsa, Oklahoma, I'm like, it's too easy for these young kids to get these guns. And like, who, and again, just like the people in Sandy Hook sued the gun owner, the people in Buffalo are using the same attorney to sue the gun owner. That gun owner settled with the people in Sandy Hook for was it 80 or 90 million dollars. Doesn't bring anybody back, but clearly, even though those parents in Sandy Hook won that verdict, nothing has changed. It's gotten worse.
Well, the gun
Parents
owners,
got to be accountable.
gun manufacturers are under
Right.
an immunity where as as manufacturers, as businesses, they can't be sued. But what the lawsuits are stemming from their marketing efforts, and whether or not they're marketing to young people. That's what they're looking at. Whether or not their ads or their advertising, their marketing is targeting the youth to do something like this. The other thing, you and I were having a conversation last night because the Philadelphia concert was going on, and in our typical text chain, we're going back and forth. And I was telling you, even before that happened in Philly, what was I was saying?
You said somebody's gonna get shot. You did.
I mean,
Even though
I wasn't trying to say that somebody was, that it was going to go down. But one of the things I said was these concerts, especially, you were telling me the artists are going, and I'm not sure how far the street is from the venue.
I know
okay?
how far it is.
Is it like across town or?
Yeah, because the man is on. That's kind of like say on the north side, and South Street is down going towards the waterfront. It's a big tourist area, which is interesting, and it was so much of a tourist area that they stopped people from driving down there on the weekends. Kind of like how Broadway, that intersection is in New York. You can't drive because nobody could move. Everybody was out there like doing Freaknik on in a one-lane street.
Yeah. I saw the Ring videos. A lot of Ring videos.
Yeah.
A lot of closed circuit television video information. I mean, is actually on social media showing the time of the shooting. But my point is, if you're a concert either promoter or organizer, or if you're an artist, really it's your responsibility right now to try to show up on time. You need to be on time so that these shows can move, people can get on the stage, perform, and the shows can start and end on time.
But the other thing, again,
go
that
ahead.
was a situation where people had been.
I'm not saying that show.
No. But
caused
just say this:
situation, but
that
in
was
general,
over. That was a long day, 12 hours. People are antsy, people are hot, people are
Yes.
hungry, people are drunk, people are high. Let's just call a thing a thing. But the other
especially
thing
summer.
is, right?
Yeah.
Normally, after a concert, South Street is one of those places in Philadelphia where people would go, to chill, to hang out. You could do everything from get water ice. You could go to a bar, get a drink. You could go down the waterfront, chill on the water, kind of cool out. So it was a place where like the after concert place you might go if you don't go to the club. And it's also a place where families would go take their kids on the weekends, for, say ice cream and water ice. You just stroll down to the waterfront, and it's like, you can't go to the grocery store. You can't go to the concert. It's like, you can't go to church. Don't forget, people have gotten slaughtered in churches too. It's like, it's almost like, we can,
It's right.
can't go anywhere.
Go ahead, Kate.
Can't
What
go-
were you about
can't
to
go
say?
to school.
I took my grandkids. It's a new outdoor venue out here, but I was out there yesterday and I found myself looking up at the surrounding buildings,
Mm-hmm.
empty buildings and big parking garages, and my mind just went like,
Oh yeah.
many
Okay,
windows on top of these buildings. It puts you in
yeah.
a certain.
Well, that's what happened. That's what happened in Vegas. If you remember the
Yeah.
Patriot
Got in the
concert,
hotel room. Yeah, yeah,
the guy
yeah.
was in the hotel room. But my whole
Yep.
point, and I'll throw it back to you, Tanya B. My whole point is, if you are a promoter, if you're involved in organizing shows, make sure your shows start, end on time, keep people moving. You know, when you
Yes.
allow people in an environment, especially during summer when it's hot, people drinking, people smoking, there's just too much
Exactly.
going down. And so I do, have to say, just that's one of the reasons. I mean, I find it very, very hard for me to consider concerts this year, outdoor
Boy,
concerts. And I'm not trying to throw,
No,
I'm not
not
trying to
when.
throw shade, throw a wet towel or
Mm,
water on any of these shows. But I'll be quite honest with you, and that's not out of fear. It's just out of caution.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's they don't, especially the ones who don't have their stuff together. I
but
like
you
the
know
I
what
like the
else?
people who just get you in, get you out, and we keep it moving. Go ahead, Tanya B.
Right. And the other thing is, you know, you hire production people for a reason. And KW, I'm sure you can
Yes,
speak to this. If you remember, there was a time when we all would go to the Budweiser Superfest, and there was so
yes,
much time in
Mm.
between. Then they got that stage that was either in 2 or 3 parts, and it would rotate. So while
Right.
Tina Marie was performing, Confunction could be setting up, and then
hmm
when Tina went off, it went around, and Confunction, could perform. She'd break down the next, to kind of keep the flow going. And when you've got people waiting 2 hours
yeah.
between
That's
acts, or
crazy.
two, I
That's
mean, come
crazy.
on.
That's crazy. That's crazy. One
Ridiculous.
more K Dub, and then we'll move on to the next
No, I
thing.
have
I
a
had a couple
question
of
for
things.
K Dub, and
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
and
ahead,
I
Tanya
said,
B.
you talked about your grandkids, K Dub, and I talked about this last week when we had life coach Kim on, and I don't know what the ages of your children are, and I have a friend who's like, I'm not letting my granddaughter watch television. How do you explain what's been going on, especially in Texas? How do you explain that, or have your grandchildren asked you, Papa, what's going on? Why are they doing this? How do you explain it? Because I think kids are going to be afraid to go to school or
Go
go
ahead, K.
anywhere, really.
Yeah, and me in my no filtered mouth, I just tell them like how I see it. Crazy, retarded. What's going on nowadays? Like when we were at the concert tonight, asked them this morning. Now we home, we sleep. Everybody 40 guns. Sound like about to be my
Wow.
sword. I had to come in here and make
Wow.
sure they would sleep. I could tell it's about, but I'm like, something just happened. So I tell them, guns and all that. Way people are still in. It's
Yeah.
not right. People are really not in their right state of mind. Do not indulge, and that internet and that TV, that minimum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
That's that minimum. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
They
Good
can't just
idea.
watch.
By the way,
Right.
you're talking about TV this week, this past week. Biden did the State of the Union, which I've been encouraging. I'm like, dude, you got to go on and address the country. You need to be addressing the nation
Like
more. I'm glad
the
he did
elephant in
that.
the room. Yes.
Actually, he looked a whole lot better than he has in a long time. Because normally he looks frail, and he looked pissed off, which he needs to look pissed off. You know,
Everybody,
he,
I'm pissed off. I don't even
everybody's
have
pissed off.
kids.
So
Yeah.
he looked as if he's there, he's present, and he's pissed off. Which that's what we needed to see. That and a lot of the things he said were the things we needed to hear. Whether or not they take action is a different story. But I was glad to see him addressing the nation. And quite frankly, I go back to what I said before. He needs to be doing these daily press conferences with everything that's going on. If you consider gas right now, it's what at 484 on average nationwide. That's the average. But of course, my West Coast family,
ten
God
dollars
bless y'all.
for a gallon
I
of
don't know.
regular. If I don't
I
love you
don't know.
that
That's
much.
that's crazy. And with everything that's going on right now, he needs to really be as present, speaking to the nation as possible, and hopefully his people. I mean, there's been mass black defections at the White House. They it's like 20 plus people plus I forgot Cedric's last name. His chief communications chief. No. His communications.
Maybe he need to hire
He needs
the
to hire
entertainer.
Cedric the entertainer. But
Yeah.
but his communications chief, stepped down, and that doesn't bode well. Black right now, Black support is waning. And again, I mean, I give him kudos for the good things that are occurring. Keeping unemployment relatively stable, still getting a positive job outlook every month. So I give him credit where credit is due. But when it comes down to dealing with all these issues that are on his plate, he's got to make sure that he's addressing everything consistently, not just in press releases, not just through his press people, but it needs to come from his mouth, and he needs to be straight up front. And by the way, they also have this Thursday, which I'm not sure how this is even going to fall into the mix, y'all. But the January 6th hearings start this Thursday as we tape. This Thursday, June 9th, 8:00. So prime time. Who's gonna watch? You gonna watch? I mean,
that's why I'm gonna go to Netflix, and that's why I'm gonna go to Amazon Prime. Heck, I even went and got Hulu. It's $3 for 3 months. No,
I just don't know. I mean, even though I think it's important, and I'm probably gonna tune in for a lot of it to see what's going on, I just don't know if they have kept the general public engaged enough about January 6th. And I think people feel, my circle of people, and I'm wondering what y'all think, they just feel like these people are going to get off. The ones, they just, it's a wrap.
And they're going to lie.
And they're going to
lie.
And
they're going to walk. And it's like,
walk.
Okay, we knew this. My tax dollars could be used for something else a lot more positive. And it's almost like, okay, but that's right, the insurrection. But, it's interesting but there are so many, not that this is not important. I don't want to diminish it at all. But there's so much other ish going on right now. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't give a rat's tail about those people because they sure enough didn't care about me.
Yeah, and I just wish, and it's disappointing to me. They let Meadows go, who was chief of staff. They didn't indict him, and one other person, Navarro, they indicted for ignoring the subpoenas. But it's just amazing the people that Merrick Garland, the Justice Department, has said, nah, we're just gonna let him go. So it's going to be interesting. If they don't come out of the gate swinging, it's just going to vanish. It's just going to be like a puff of smoke.
Yep.
Just my opinion. They need to come out with fire, and they need to make a statement. If they don't make a statement on Thursday, I think that they're going to lose America. America is going to say, especially during the summer.
Yeah.
I know there's rerun season. They hope to kind of not interrupt people's favorite shows, man. but people got, there's just too much stuff out there for people to check out. It's not like it used to be when you and I, when we were all growing up.
You didn't really have a choice.
You didn't have a choice.
You know what? This is perfect timing. And like you said, you're going to watch these hearings. And in the words of that new Jordan Peele movie that I will be watching, the answer is nope. Not no, but nope.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm waiting on that, by the way.
You and me both.
All right. Yeah, let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back on the other side with entertainment with Tanya B. Here we go.
And cooking.
Children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
All right, Tanya B. I know you got some good stuff. What you got? What's going on?
I know. I said I need everybody just get a little giggle on here and there. Oops, excuse me, y'all. Okay. I told you we were going to talk about. We got some dumb donkeys. We got some positive news, and we also have some. We got a couple of what the hells. But anyway. I want to start off with the celebrity prayer list and say, prayers up to Master P and the Miller family. He lost his 29-year-old daughter, Tatiana, who had been struggling with substance abuse for quite some time, as well as some mental health issues. And, it's a shame because this is really, really, again, something that's serious, where people not able to overcome addictions and they succumb to mental illness. And I don't watch Growing Up Hip Hop, but I understand that there was actually an episode where there was an intervention done for Tatiana. And sometimes, all the money in the world cannot save, a person. And I just say, prayers up to the family, and hopefully she's not suffering anymore and that she's sleeping in peace. So
most definitely. I
And
mean,
the other
money can't, like I said, more money, more problems. Money can't cover your problems. Go ahead.
And also want to say prayers up and health and healing. And, I say, a lot of things come my way, but, some people have no filter. I have a filter. And sometimes, when certain things come up and people share things with me, I will respect their right to privacy. And I've done this for about almost 4 years with the situation with Bobby Caldwell. Now, he went to get some treatment and was given some antibiotics, and there's something that's called medical floxing, and he's been floxed to the point where he has limited mobility now. He's in a wheelchair. He can no longer play. He can no longer sing, and he's just in constant pain. And this all came from, a misdiagnosis and getting the wrong medication. So, his wife, Mary Beth, she's a strong woman. She did post an update on his Facebook page on Friday. And one thing that I want people to know is that, and I think we can all agree, I said to you, Tommy B and K-Dub, that What You Won't Do for Love is hands down, bar none, I would say the blue-eyed song soul of multiple decades. People did not know he was white. They put his album covers in silhouette, and his first tour was with Natalie Cole, where he opened for her, and people did not know that he was Caucasian. And she actually did a cover of What You Won't Do for Love on a duet album that she had out with Peabo Bryson some years ago. So, like, you think people disappear. Some people just, his thing was to just, do a show here and there and to retire. And, one thing I said, Boss Skaggs, who is another blue-eyed soul singer, and everybody knows the low down. Yep, everybody knows the low down. Yep. And he encouraged Bobby Caldwell to write for other people, and he wrote songs like "Next Time I Fall," which was recorded by Amy Grant and Peter Cetera. He wrote for Roy Ayers. And all the samples, everybody from Little Nas X to people I can't, Snow Allegra have sampled him. And I hope we can put this on the website, Tommy B. But if you want to send a card to Bobby, you can write him at Bobby Caldwell, P.O. Box 6, Great Meadows, New Jersey 07838. That's Bobby Caldwell, P.O. Box number 6, Great Meadows, New Jersey 07838. And now, I shared it with a lot of folks, and a lot of his musician friends did not know that he was, just in such poor health. So
make sure I get that. Send that to me, Tanya B, and I'll make sure.
I will, and I'm saying the smooth jazz world will just not be the same, because when you had smooth jazz cruises and shows and boat rides, and Bobby Caldwell was always up in the cut, and now we thank him for the great body of music that he left us. And, hopefully, there's always room for a miracle. So we just wish him the best health and healing.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, but he definitely left us an excellent piece of work, man. That song, boom. As soon as the bar said, one note.
And K-Dub, I think you can speak to this. That was a time when people used real horns, not keyboards. Hello?
Oh, yeah.
No, and did you know that Bobby Caldwell actually was raised in Miami? His mother was a real estate agent, and one of her clients was Bob Marley. And Bob Marley also kind of took Bobby under his wing. And in case you didn't know this, one of his first professional jobs was he used to play lead guitar in Little Rich's band.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah. And he started out as a teen, so yeah, we just wish him all the best. I want to talk about, I talked about church mess last week. It was T.D. Jake's son-in-law, and now I finally got to watch Kingdom Business, which stars Yolanda Adams and Michael Beach and Michael Jai White. And in a recent interview, Yolanda Adams, who said she's a very private person, and I can understand that, and I can respect that. But now she's talking about her first marriage. A lot of people don't know. Her first marriage didn't last but about maybe not even 2 years. And she was married to a man named Troy Mason, and we don't like him, and here is why. Of course, abusers always deny what they've done when they get put on blast. But she said she had a message from God. He said, Yolanda, don't marry that man. And she didn't listen, and she married him. And now she's coming forward, hoping she can help somebody else. She said that he punched her in the face. Who punches Yolanda Adams in the face?
Yeah, she about 6'2", right?
I'm just saying.
don't punch.
Maybe he sucker punched
Don't
her.
punch
But
any woman, but Yo is, but that's crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
And then she said that he threw her across the room. This was right before her career really kind of before, like, was it Valley High, Mountain Low, and before those
that's
songs.
crazy.
But now she's speaking out. Then she went on to marry a former NFL player named Tim Crawford, who's the father of her daughter Taylor, who's now 21. And they have since divorced, but they've gone on to co-parent. But again, she said, I'm just speaking about this. She said if you talk about it too much, it becomes part of of who you are in your existence. But now she speaks in hopes of because you hear so many stories about these preachers and these gospel singers who are very abusive to their wives, and some of the wives don't stay and some leave. And speaking of that, can we talk about messy?
Crazy. Them people in
I'm telling you, some of them,
crazy as anybody on the street.
They got more that devil up in them than peanut.
What is it? The movie Samuel Jackson is, the crazy bus.
The short
No. You remember the interrogator or the negotiator?
Oh yes, I saw it.
Crazies on the bus. I mean,
yes.
you just I mean, there's no denomination, no religion to crazy. I mean,
all that singing and preaching, and they just
anywhere.
crazy.
You can go anywhere.
Singing and praising and punching. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there it is.
You know what? I just real quick. Short story. In the city, I was in Macon, Georgia. I'm not gonna call any names, right? There was a Stop the Violence rally at this well-known recreation center. All the pastors there, right? All the black pastors. Do you know 2 black pastors almost got into a fist fight? You know how 2 brothers, they kind of start, you start hearing in the media, the press, everybody.
Why are you saying almost? Why are you saying almost? Call a thing a thing.
Because
they put pause on them.
Because they didn't let them. Because the first thing they were saying, well, we could take this outside. I'm like, them the pastors?
Wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
They were like, we could take this outside. I said, what?
Yeah. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
So yeah. Crazy is, crazy has no religion, no denomination,
no filter.
It is what it is.
Scientific evidence. It's there. Where is it?
Yes, it is what it is. Go ahead, Tanya B. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
I know I talked about this before, and I talk about
they know who they are.
who suffer in silence. This week now we're back on crazy cheating John Gray. He cannot stop cheating on his wife, and I wish he'd get some self-confidence and stop letting him use her as a doormat. He's like, oh, I've changed. I'm sorry to my wife. I, took the church's money and bought her like a Lamborghini or some foolishness, and that didn't stop. But now, before he claimed, oh, I was cheating emotionally, but while you had your son in the car and you had the phone on speaker. But wait, there's more. Now this side.
Wait a minute. Let me ask. I got one question, Tanya B. Is he still at the church?
Oh, well, he got put out of Redemption. He went over to Redemption and took over for Pastor Ron Carpenter. And
but he's still at a church. He's still
he started his own because they kicked him out of Redemption. Okay.
All right, I'll leave it there. Go ahead.
What had happened was, again, I say it takes 2 to tango. This woman knew he was married, and he knew what he was doing was all kinds of wrong. But now the side piece has come forth with receipts in the form of a video. Okay, hey. I said a video.
And he's still at the church, right?
Right. Well, see, this is a church that he started, so they can't kick him out. He got kicked out because he took over somebody else's church when he left Joel Osteen.
Well, people still in the pews, though, right? They're still in the pews.
Right? I don't know how many, but
I'm just curious.
Hey, people were in denial about Eddie Long. They did not leave New Birth. That's a whole other story. But I'll just say this, here he was. Now, Oprah put him on, gave him the show. She got tired of his mess and took the show off. And one of the episodes. I didn't watch it because I just did not. He didn't do it for me. But he was counseling former Destiny's Child member LaToya Luckett, who was getting married. And I said, well, how he gonna counsel her about cheating? She's now divorced with 2 young children. Her husband was a serial cheater, and they're now divorced. So John Gray couldn't tell me how to turn a doorknob. So I
keep it moving.
Okay. Okay, let's keep it moving. Let's talk about this. This is the elephant in the room. It seems like comedian Monique is not happy unless she's beefing with somebody about something. And now it's become D.L. Hughley. Now, the headline, was what it was. And I'm like, girlfriend, you just came back from being out of work for 13 years. And if she keep it up, she's going to be out of work for 13 more years. But here's the gag. And D.L. Hughley made a very valid point. He said, Monique, how come it's always somebody else? That's the problem. It was Lee Daniels. It was Oprah. It was Tyler Perry. It was Will Packer. It was Netflix. It's always somebody else. And her I'll call it thing. Her and her local husbander, Sydney. So then, the janky promoter was the one that I guess he wanted to book him, sell tickets, and did whatever he had to do. And he was not clearly upfront with both of them. But here's where I think Monique needs to go somewhere and sit down. You don't go public and talk about somebody's wife, somebody's children, if you have a beef with that person. She does not need to be called, even drug Steve Harvey in there. He got nothing to do with it. She called him a coon. She called D.L. Hughley a B-A-N, fill in the blank, and things along that line. Like, is that necessary? She said, well, you opened for the Kings of Comedy and I closed for the Queens of Comedy. Yeah, girl, that was in 1999. And look where her career has not gone. And look where DL's has gone. He has a successful nationwide syndicated radio show. And she could not cut it on syndicated radio. She could not cut it on that talk show she had on BET for a couple of years. So again, she's always talking about what she did and what she did, but girl, that was 20, 30 years ago. You need to go somewhere and sit down. I'm gonna tell you this much.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony B. No, I was just gonna say, it's unfortunate, and these they're both, regardless of what she had, it being 30 years ago, she's still a legend. You know what I mean? She's still an extremely talented artist, as is DL. I mean, one of the things when we come on, we do this show, and I've been saying this for maybe the last few years, and especially this year. I just wish the platform, especially people who have these significant platforms like DL or even Monique. Monique still has a significant platform. When she goes live on her social media, she's got well over 1 million followers. So it's like there's so much that artists could be doing to influence what's going on right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's so much outreach. Yeah. You and I have the conversation.
Right.
I ask, hey, well, with everything, all the shootings, all the stuff that's going on in the hip hop community, why doesn't the hip hop community, why don't the current hip hop community? I mean, we had our day when we did, we're all in the same gang or self-destruction. Why don't the comedians, instead of doing the beefs and these, I mean, because honestly, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I don't give a shit. About. I mean, that's between her, DL, and the
and that's where it should stay.
And when she took it on stage, it was a bad look for her. Now, I've supported her. Honestly, I've said, when she was having a beef with Netflix on this podcast, I've always said, God, give her. I mean, y'all need to give her her due. But it's just, you're right. It's just, when the beef was over between her and Lee Daniels, I thought it was kind of like another chapter. Let's move on.
She moved
turn
on.
The page. But now it's just like, there's just some people who must have drama to serve. I mean,
she's one of them.
They just have to have it. And maybe that's the thing, and it's unfortunate again, because with everything that Black people are dealing with right now, when, COVID, like Cardi B said, why don't y'all just come out and say we're in a recession? All this
right,
stuff.
But the thing is,
baby foods, there's just so much stuff that's going on. Why don't y'all do something together? Yes. Positive instead of beefing. What's the point?
Her behavior is toxic, and people are not going to put up with it. And I'm going to tell you this right now. 50 Cent kept his word and gave her a part on Black Mafia Family, but you can trust and believe he's not going to put up with her with all this toxicity. And let me just say this: everybody has their moment. Now there was a time in KW, I know you can jump in on this. You look at when Slave was hot, Slave could, they could headline, and when the Ohio players were hot, they could headline. Things change. Yes, you might have headlined back in the day. You might have sold 99 million records and had 55 Grammys, but things change. So you don't always get top billing, but some money is better than no money.
Yeah.
This whole thing about her with the top billing, to me, that was nothing but ego.
Yeah, I mean, even if it goes back and forth between the both of them, it's just, again, consider the times we're in right now. You know what I'm saying? Those people at that show, a lot of those people probably came out for the first time in a significant audience, probably without wearing a mask. You know what I mean? And they were there to laugh.
Not to hear her slam somebody.
Her grievances. So I just, we look at a lot of the stuff. I don't see that, with the exception of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I don't see that on the other side. I don't see that in mainstream, where, a lot of artists who don't like each other, just publicly airing it out.
Disrespect
in the middle of everything. There's just too much going on.
Exactly,
I don't care. Yeah. I would have cared at one point. I just don't care. Who cares? Who cares?
Exactly. And, if I had to pick and choose, I used to be like Team Monique. I get it. But
I used to care. I don't care anymore.
No, I don't either. And Whoopi Goldberg don't care anymore. Wanda Sykes don't care anymore. And the people at Netflix don't care anymore. So let's
y'all just want to do a get together with, what's his name? The amateur boxer, and just set up a grudge match and just go.
Maybe Monique can box.
I'd watch.
Black China. Black China's in training to do celebrity boxing. Let her and Monique get up there and duke it out.
What's the dude's name?
DL's not gonna show up.
What's the guy who's boxing all the white dude who's boxing all the pros? I forgot his name.
Connor something.
YouTube star Conor McGregor?
McGregor,
no, not him. The YouTube star. Y'all know.
Right.
Oh, that guy. Him. It's like, this should go to show you, who cares? We can't think of his name. Can we keep this train moving, please? Thank you.
Let's keep it going.
I'm gonna close on some positive news. Now, in case you haven't seen or heard, Anita Baker has shut down Las Vegas. She's going on what she calls her farewell tour. It's 17 cities. There are some major markets that she's not going to go to, so I suggest you find out and get your tickets now. Las Vegas sold out. People were sitting like in row Z and paying $800 a ticket, and she sold the tickets. But one thing I want to say about her is that she publicly acknowledged Chance the Rapper, who's probably the age of one of her children, for being the catalyst in showing her how to reclaim her master recordings, and she publicly thanked him, and I thought that was a good thing.
Good stuff. Let me give him an air horn too.
Yeah, give it up a chance. Yeah,
good stuff. Yeah. Did he give her a Kit Kat bar too?
I don't know. He might have given her some of that Chance of Rapper ice cream. He got the ice cream too. But I like to see these younger artists reach back to the legends, and that's the way it should be. There's something where he had enough within him to reach out to her, and I'm sure now he's getting inundated with requests from other artists who are trying to do the same thing. Yeah. But I'm hearing, I don't know if it's going to happen, that there may be a collaboration in the works, and I think people would get down with Chance the Rapper and Anita Baker more than they would get down with the record Chance made with Dionne Warwick that nobody ever heard. And by the way, her documentary, Don't Make Me Over, I don't know where it is. It was supposed to be on CNN Plus, and the channel shut down 3 days before that documentary was due to air. And,
well, they'll probably just integrate it into CNN, because CNN, they're still doing their docs. They're still showing, their documentaries. So I'm sure it's going to show up.
Somewhere,
somewhere
it will. Yeah. And other than that, I'm just cooking today. And today, when we get done the podcast, we are having Pantagonian scallops Alfredo with sauteed
I'm gonna do that for you officially. I'm gonna do
on
that
a better
for you.
pasta.
I gotta give you the official in just a minute. But I do want to ask you about Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey.
You know what?
Did you want to say anything
I'll just
about
say
that?
this: you can't make a whole housewife. Let's keep it moving.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Black women get mad if he goes back to white women.
I'll tell you,
be prepared. Your box office receipts are going to be in the toilet, and he might as well go over there and sit down with Monique.
I don't know, Tanya B. I mean, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put my bet. I'm gonna place my bet that he's gonna go. He went black, whereas folks were wondering I think
He'll get somebody who's biracial.
Yeah, he'll go biracial, maybe go Hispanic, go Latina, But you know what? That's his choice. If he does it, he gave it a shot. He tried to do something. I mean, from what I'm hearing about this,
he picked the wrong girl.
Let me say from what I hear, and I'm not saying I don't know. No, again, it's not one of those things I'm hanging with, but I'm just saying that from what I'm hearing, is he really wanted more from the relationship. He wanted to take this thing to the next level, and she's like, nah.
She's out here tootsie rolling and dipping it low and spreading it wide. Now, come on now. Like I said, watch her end up going back to Future with his toxic 7 broken homes and 10 kids and 8 baby mamas. But if she if she like her mama, she like them bad boy dope boys. Let's just call a thing a thing. And can I just say 100+ days free Brittany Griner?
Yeah, I mean, actually, she's 115 days as we tape today. And I saw the NBA bought the Celtics are wearing the T-shirts. I am BG. But you know what? You know what y'all need to be doing is doing some kind of revenue partnership so you can pay these WNBA women more money. I mean, what
the soccer players, the women's soccer players, they negotiated, they stuck to their guns, they got more money so that they don't have to go play in countries like Russia. And also she's gonna need some funds just to exist. So she's still got a household and a child, and a family that still need to exist. So I think, and I just saw Carmelo Anthony's video. That was the lamest of the lame. I'm like, okay, you missed reading class, so you're on a 4th grade reading level, and it sounded like that's what the fuck he read. You get my pressure up.
But I'm just saying, it's like you got the commish coming out saying, it's like, look, y'all need to come out and make an announcement. Hey, here's what we're gonna do for the WNBA, so that they don't have to go to play year round in international leagues that really are unsafe for these women, so that they can stay in the U.S. with their families. We're going to set up some kind of revenue share where it's between the WNBA and the NBA. That's what they need to be talking about. I mean, what do you, I mean, thoughts and prayers ain't going to get her out of Russia.
That ain't going to get, not going to keep it from killing people. You know what?
It's not going to keep them from having to go international to
exactly. I'm saying, but the people at Whole Foods, some of the people that work minimum wage jobs in states like Washington make more money than these WNBA players. Something is wrong. Something is wrong, y'all.
I hear you.
It's wrong.
And speaking of the NBA, y'all, and then we're gonna take a quick break because I got a quick question before. Game tonight. Boston and Golden State on ABC as we tape tonight. Boston is up 1-0. And did you know that the game 1 was the lowest ranked first game in 15 years?
15 years.
And my philosophy behind because a lot of the games were well rated. I just think Boston and Golden State's kind of a predictable team. They got Steph Curry, and with Boston's so much of a defensive team. They don't have that spark. Nobody really gets excited about Al Horford and nor do they get. I mean, Smart,
Jason Tatum.
Tatum. I mean, they're coming into their own, but they're not. I mean, they're a tough team, but they're not that kind of team where it's not LeBron. It doesn't have a lot of star power. And I think the threes. I think people are kind of like, okay, Steph Curry shooting from half court. The 3-point game is a boring game. It's just kind of like, okay, unless you're hitting threes every time, then that's a story. But watching a 35% shooting from threes ain't that exciting to me.
But let me just say this.
What you about to say, Tanya?
Boston Beantown is my hometown.
Yeah,
and, I the team, and who I'm really going up for, and I want this brother to do well and get his fangs while he's working now. And I can't pronounce his name. I think his name is the coach.
Oh, yeah. Neil Long's
I just call him Neil Long's husband. That's a shame. But I'm going up. I know it. So what's your name? I'm Neil Long's husband.
That's okay.
I'm just going up for him because I want to see the brother do well. The team, I mean, no tea, no shade. I want this for him.
Okay.
Those boys will be around and he'll get fired before they will. So can we just say 5 on it to the coach, Neil Long's husband, y'all.
Yeah, we'll give it up.
Okay. Yeah. All right,
y'all.
That's a good thing.
Okay, that was like, okay, yeah.
All right, so real quick, and we won't take a break. We'll just go ahead and get ready to wrap this. But I do have a question, y'all. This has been kind of hot and heavy this week because Juneteenth is coming up in a couple of weeks. But, you know, this is for the people poll, and you can weigh in. Go to the website. There's basically a people poll place where you can leave your audio, your comments, your questions, your feedback. But do you think should copyright protection be placed on Juneteenth right now? A lot of folks are talking about copywriting Juneteenth so it can't be used. Like, you know, the controversy over the Walmart ice cream, the controversy over the watermelon mix.
Right, the watermelon salad. But who gets to copyright Juneteenth?
Well, there's a guy. His name is Mario Bowler. He's assistant director
Kwanzaa?
at Lincoln University, HBCU in Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
He filed a trademark application for Juneteenth Joy in summer of 2021. He and his family frequently attend Black business conventions and have established businesses centered around Black culture and food, gourmet popcorn, candy, mint business. The Bowlers also aim to turn Juneteenth Joy into a scholarship fund that champions future Black leaders. I mean, he can come out and do that, but that's him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's fine. He wants to make money doing it, but you know, if you're gonna come out against it, I would say maybe if you're gonna have it copywritten or protected, I don't think one person should protect it either. You know what I'm saying? If you're if you're gonna protect it, it shouldn't be one business, one company, because you're gonna pimp it too. You know, but everything is pimp. I mean, you ask Mexicans, how do they feel about Cinco de Mayo? I mean, even it's like
how about every
Cinco de Mayo is out of control.
Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving.
Well, Valentine's Day is different.
Easter has turned into a commercial. It's not, you know, the Easter bunny. It's just like hopping, but food, clothes, you know, holidays, you know, Easter this, Easter that, Easter egg hunt. The price of eggs goes up the week of Easter. So, you know, everything has just become a consumer ripoff to me. And I know who I'd like to see copyright something like that. Somebody who gets it. How about Sheila Johnson? Yes. Who?
I'm just saying.
I'm going to say this to you. Go look up Sheila Johnson, former wife of BET founder Bob Johnson.
Oh,
Get off my phone.
No, forget that.
I don't want him to do it, and I don't want Elon Musk to go get it, and I don't want some. You know what? Get off my phone.
No, I just don't
we need
think.
a benediction.
I don't think.
I'm about to come through this.
I don't think anybody should copyright it. I do think here's what I do think.
Someone's gonna try.
No, but I think that the companies that are getting involved in any of these cultural situations where they actually advertise or market, they need to make sure they have Black people on the board and in these rooms and heading up these situations who understand what's being appropriated and what's not. I mean, the problem is you got a lot of these companies that have no representation when they make the decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Who made the decision about that stupid wall? And first of all, Walmart Great Value is not nutritional. It's sugar and poison anyway. But who at Walmart thought that was a good idea? Probably somebody that doesn't look like us. The same thing with that watermelon salad. The person that thought of that's probably somebody who doesn't look like us.
So who gonna go to the strip clubs and
Stevie Wonder. No, wait.
Who gonna tell the strip clubs to stop?
Jamal Bryant, because Pastor Holy Ho gonna go down to Magic City and okay.
Who gonna tell the strip clubs, hey, y'all need to stop using Juneteenth? Y'all need to stop using the King holiday.
Jamal Bryant, John Gray, Yolanda Adams' ex-husband, Juanita Bottom's ex-husband.
Why you going hard? Why you gotta go hard? See, I was trying to
get my pressure up.
All right, Tanya B, here you go.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen.
What's cooking, Tanya B?
Let me turn the page. Tanya B, what you cooking? Go ahead.
Jesus, Mary and Josephine, I told you today we're going to have in time for the game, Pantagonian scallops. It's just like you take the scallops and you put on some garlic, a little bit of lemon, put some breadcrumbs on there, very little for me, and you boil them. Then you take and put them in a little Alfredo sauce, chop up a little garlic, butter, spinach on your pasta. I'm using hidden veggie pasta, and that's dinner. Boop, easy. 20 minutes at the most.
Excellent, good stuff. When she want to get out of here, y'all, it is
trying to get my pressure up. I wish Bob was here for the benediction.
Tell you, B. I'm just here to tell you, but make sure y'all Go to castropolis.net, click our link. Everything is there. You can subscribe. You can check out the podcast, the stream, social media, email. And again, go to castropolis.net. We've got something new. You can leave us a voicemail message directly on the site. You got a comment, you got feedback, just like, why the strip clubs, how they get away with it. How did strip clubs get to do Juneteenth? You know what I'm saying? Nobody get mad about that. I mean, so get it.
Watermelon seed over here.
So I'm just saying. So if you got any feedback about that, feel free, go to the website, go to castropolis.net. Love to hear your voice. It's my birthday week this week, so go there and hit me a shout out on
party over here.
Party over here, on my Prince Day birthday. Also, don't forget, y'all, call the your congressional rep. Regardless. I mean, even if they agree with you, always just flood the emails, flood the voicemails, and let them know, that you're paying attention. The number's 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. I keep that on the notes as well. So if you miss it, check out the podcast notes and it'll be there as well. Tanya B, you got any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Georgia, please go vote. We got Herschel Walker out here giving away gas cards, but then he also said he calls COVID covert, and that should tell you about his inability to lead the people, and that's just my opinion and nothing more. And if you're an independent artist, you can go to the castropolis.net website, submit your music to be on the Birdwire. Boop. Done.
Absolutely. Do it this. K-Dub, you got anything? Any last minute thoughts?
I just tell everybody stay safe. Be aware where you at. You know what I mean? Crazy stuff going down, so stay on high alert. Don't get paranoid, but just pay attention.
I do too. I mean, that's my thing. Definitely the rapper Trouble. Again, as we come on, I didn't know Trouble's music. I'm not familiar with him, but again,
either.
He was doing an after party here in the ATL and wound up shot. So we're losing so many of these young rappers, man, in their 30s and their 20s.
More.
Go ahead.
I can't think of his name, but there's a rapper that was at an after party for the Queen's Jubilee over in the UK. He got killed, and prayers up to Metro Boomin. His mother was murdered by his stepfather, and the stepfather turned the gun on himself. So prayers up to Metro Boomin. A lot of people in the ATL on the hip hop landscape and just across the country have used him for beats and production. So Metro Boomin,
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much.
It's crazy.
There's so much going on, y'all. I'm like K-Dub. Be aware of your surroundings. Plan ahead. I reach out to these promoters and people who are involved. These large companies that are doing these concerts. As the weather heats up, please make sure that you guys keep these shows moving. We don't need. I mean, there's already a lot of anxiety. A lot of just people who are on edge. Don't make it any worse by making these people wait these ridiculous hour and a half, 2 hour show is 2 hours late. Come on, that's ridiculous. So let's do better. Let's do better. All right.
You know better and you can do better. And just because you think you can get away with it with artists of color who are black, brown, and tan doesn't mean and it's not gonna. It's a shame. Will it stop when something happens? And it's really unfortunate. Thank you. That's going down. But again, accountability. A lot of people just don't want that.
Yeah, so true. All right, y'all. K-Dub, thank you so much for dropping in, man, this week. I appreciate you, man. Tanya B, as always, thank you so much. Y'all, don't forget, please check out the Birdwire every Friday and Saturday, 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Again, Friday, Saturday night, and then noon on Saturdays. And, definitely check out the great information Tanya B is dropping for Black Music Month. Please check that out. And with that, y'all, episode 132 is in the can, and we are out of here. Peace.
Throwback Alley every Sunday, 2 p.m. Thank you.
Put me back in the group chat.
You never left.
Peace. That's an inside joke.
All right, y'all.
See y'all. Peace.
Later.
Power to the people.
Yeah.
Fight the power.